The 2022 rabies-free goal is fast approaching. In other words, it is being envisioned that there will be zero rabies cases by then. But is this realistic? We only have roughly 3 months, and yet we still observe spikes, both in human and animal rabies cases. In many tropical countries, rabies is considered as an endemic disease. This fact could also be true in the Philippines. Consider, for instance, the case in Davao City. The city is known as the largest city in terms of land area, and this poses a challenge for rabies surveillance. Although there have been efforts being done to control the disease in the city, the trend of annual reported rabies cases remains continuously increasing. As we are gearing towards the 2022 rabies-free goal, and we are now in the last quarter of 2020, it seems difficult for us to see if the said goal can still be achieved. Perhaps one can ask, where did we go wrong? Or should I say, who is responsible for this? The owners, the dogs, or the government? So sino nga ba ang may problema? Ang amo, ang aso, o ang gobyerno? Good thing we are mathematicians and not politicians. And so our approach for answering this somehow controversial question is unbiased as we utilize quantitative methods and mathematical modeling techniques. In order to answer the question on accountability, let us first ask, is rabies in Davao City still endemic after all? Consider the monthly reported cases from 2006 to 2017. As you can see on your screen, the number of rabies cases can range between 0 and 6. The plot looks almost flat, and there are ample number of zero reported cases. Well, that seems to be good, and it makes sense to think that rabies is endemic in this context. As a matter of fact, we were also able to verify that rabies in Davao City is indeed endemic using a mechanistic model. Not until we zoom out and view it in a different time scale, say yearly, we observe an increasing trend of rabies cases, and that is indeed problematic. How can an endemic disease show an increasing trend when viewed in a different time scale? This is truly bothersome. Now, let us go back again to the question, who is responsible for this? The owners, the dogs, or the government? Ang amo, ang aso, o ang gobyerno? Sino nga ba ang may problema? Now, let's dig deeper into the efforts that are being made to fight against rabies. Davao City practices mass dog vaccination, dog castration, dog impounding, and conducting IEC sessions for educational awareness. We assess the impact of these interventions in reducing the number of rabies cases by means of a zero-inflated negative binomial regression model and found out that impounding is associated with a significant reduction of rabies cases in the city. This is consistent with our theoretical work on an epidemiological model that points out that population control of stray dogs plays a critical role in mitigating the risk of spread of the disease, given that stray dogs are more likely to be caught by rabies. Now, speaking of which, this idea reminds me about the conjecture that my old folks used to say. They think that dogs typically act crazily aggressive during the summer season. I don't know if that is scientifically true, but the data shows that the trend in the number of rabies cases follows the pattern of amount of rainfall and temperature. And we have verified this using co-integration analysis tools. Rabies cases are indeed driven and co-integrated by rainfall and temperature. This is why we are suggesting to vaccinate and castrate your dogs before the summer season, where dogs are expected to be roaming around. Eventually, dogs will have protection against rabies, and the possible increase in the dog population during their mating season can be prevented. Consequently, intensified impounding should be done during the summer season. Now, speaking of the summer season, children are also as active as dogs during the summertime. Of course, this is an exaggeration. As I mentioned, it is no doubt that children are more playful in summer. Thus, in the event that they share play space with dogs, there is a higher chance that children will be bitten by dogs. For this reason, we suggest that IEC sessions should target parents with toddlers who are in preschools and elementary schools. Now, who is responsible again? The owners, the dogs, or the government? Ang amo, ang aso, o ang gobyerno? You know what? We cannot pin down who is truly responsible, as it will surely complicate the problem. Rather than highlighting the individual lapses among the different parties involved in this fight towards a rabies-free Davao City, we can focus our attention to foster an effective collaboration. Now let's look back to the number of rabies cases from 2006 to 2017. 47 months have recorded 0 rabies cases, while 97 months have at least 1 rabies case. With the possible evidence-based alternatives that we mentioned earlier, and through the collaboration with dog owners, academia, and the local government, we hope that as we move on from our dream for the next set of 12 years, these 47 months with 0 rabies cases will become a straight 144 months with 0 rabies case. And the 0 rabies Davao City will eventually become our reality.